While we await his arrival, it is my honor to warmly welcome one and all to the commissioning ceremony program for the Butane Energy Limited. I'd like to welcome the Secretary to the Government of the State, representative of the Honorable Minister, Executive Secretary of the Content Development Monitoring Board, Executive Secretary of Petroleum Technology Development Fund, Executive Vice Chairman, Erecco Engineering, as well as our host, the Chairman of the Butane Energy Limited. Let me also welcome the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Finance. I'd like to also welcome the Director General of Katsina State Promotion Investment Agency, Prime Tukur Jikamshi. There is also Professor Bashir Kurfi, as well as the representative of the Magajin Katsina, Wakil Kudu. He's also here with us. Let me also appreciate the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Alaji Maniri Ibrahim Talwa, and of course the host of others. Like I said, any moment from now we shall be receiving His Excellency the Governor. As soon as he arrives here, we will start the program. May I also welcome Haji Amara Yinwa, the chairperson of Ms. Nuri Limited, as well as her entourage. Madam Abdul Malik Khalilu, Director, Butane Energy. I have also Madam Susule. He is also a Director.
Okay, wannan ko? Baya za su mata da shi. Abin da suka ce kenan.
Wakili matama sarkin daura barka da zuwa a sarkin tafarkin daura. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State, the Right Honorable Amin Bello Masari Siafar. Your Excellency, welcome.
What will be the position of the camera? Umar, ina za mu yi movie mic? Kawo gudan nan. Ashi.
LPG. Wala Sani.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we rise for the national anthem?
Wannan za a kai, wannan malam, wannan za a kai can.
Wannan gudu ne shi kan tafi da wannan. Mai duk wannan nan wurin da aka
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, the Governor of Katsina State, Right Honorable Amin Bello Masari Siafar, representative of the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, who is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Sani Gorzo, Secretary to the Government of the State, Dr. Mustafa Mohamed Inwa, members of the State Executive Council that are here, Honorable Commissioner, Special Advisors, representative of His Royal Highness the Emir of Daura, the Tafarikin Daura, the Executive Secretary of the Content Development Monitoring Board, Engineer Simbi Wabote, Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, Dr. Bello Gusau, Executive Vice Chairman of the Eresco Engineering, Mr. Maxwell Oko, as well as our host, the Chairman, Butane Energy Limited, Alhaji Isa Inwa, other members of the business community that are here, notable among them, Alhaji Salis Mamman Continental, Head of Press and Extra-Ministerial departments that are here, our distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum. We are indeed pleased to be part of the commissioning ceremony, a program for Butane Energy Limited, a 100 MT LPG storage and bottling plant, here taking place at the Kabukawa area of Kastina State. Your Excellency, other distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the program is designed to commence with an opening prayer. It is my honor to invite to the microphone for the opening prayer the Special Advisor to His Excellency on Higher Education, Dr. Mohamed Bashir Usman Rangodia.
صلوا على النبي الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عليك تبارك ربنا وتعالى. May Allah bless this very important investment. May it be of good to the benefit of the humanity of Katsina State as well as humanity in general. May Allah bring more investment to Katsina and Nigeria. May we have more peace for us to benefit from this kind of investment. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, mashallah. Now, swiftly, I would like to invite the HSSE team to proceed with the safety briefing before we move to the introduction of the guest.
Good morning, all. I would like to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Ibrahim Alabi. I represent Butane Energy Limited. It's a great honor to have you listen to our HSE brief today. At Butane Energy, we hold safety very serious. As you can see, coming into the facility, we have two gates in the facility. The first gate is the entrance gate where you walk through it. While the second gate that we have on the right hand side is the emergency exit gate for vehicle. So at Butane Energy, safety is so important such that every one of us from top to down are very, very key in what we do. So, coming here now, we have two toilets in the facility, being male and female toilets, so you feel free to access it being in our facility. Secondly, you will observe that we have firefighting equipment strategically positioned in all the facilities in case of emergency. So at the entrance gate, by the entrance gate, we have our muster point. So though we do not plan safety drilling for today, but in case you have any noise or any siren or alarm, please walking going by the gate side. So for safety. So also finally, I would like to endeavor you to maintain all safety protocol, which also include such as leaving your phone behind by the time we'll be having our talk with His Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, in my preamble, I've identified some of the entries that are here. But for the purpose of the program, there is provision for introduction. So quickly, permit me to introduce the representative of the Honorable Minister, who is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry. Allow me to recognize and welcome Dr. Sally Gorzo, Permanent Secretary, welcome. And I also introduce some of our guests, the Executive Secretary of the Content Development Monitoring Board, Engineer Cindy Wabote. Engineer, we are welcome. I also have the Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, Dr. Bello Gusto. You're welcome, sir. Of course, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Roscoe Engineering, Mr. Maxwell Oko. You're welcome, sir. My MD Chairman, the host, is no other person than Alaji Isa Inua, so join me to appreciate him. Of course, perhaps a very good link will be his able wife, who is the chairperson of the Missionary Limited, as well as her entourage. She is Haja Mariam Inua. I'd like to also acknowledge and recognize members of security agencies that are here, Director of the State Security Service, representative of the Honorable and representative of the Commissioner of Police, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as Federal Safety Corps, and then the host of others. Considering time, we will not be able to acknowledge one on all, but I warmly welcome to all of us that are here for this very important milestone in the history of Katsina State. And next is going to be a welcome remarks. Next is going to be a welcome remarks by the chairman of the Butane Energy Limited. Join me to invite to the microphone, Alaji Isa Inua.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على الكريم مولانا حبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Your Excellency, with your permission, I would like to stand on the existing protocols, please. I think the first appropriate comment to make is, of course, to welcome His Excellency, the Governor of Kastina State, the Right Honorable Adini Bello Masari, his entourage, including the Secretary to the Government of Kastina State, commissioners, other distinguished guests who are here present. Secondly, I think an appropriate moment to start is perhaps to give a little bit of history about Butane energy. It actually started as a simple conversation between two of us, a friend of mine and I, who were facing imminent statutory retirement from work. And we thought of what we could do, not only to occupy our time, but importantly, to see how we could bring to bear our education, our experience, our contacts, and our network of friends to bring to bear on our communities. And the first thing that came to our mind, maybe deriving from our background in oil and gas and our knowledge of accounting and finance, was to do LPG. And we had three aspirations. One was to try and see how we could help preserve what remains of our vegetation. You don't have to go too far anywhere in the north to understand and appreciate how much of our vegetation has been lost, how much we are facing in the devastation of climate change. The second reason was to see how we could, no matter how little, find jobs for our people and along the way create wealth. And the third reason, of course, was as newly minted businessmen, was to try and see how much money we could make. Money was not honestly a driving force in our decision to do LPG. So we started. Luckily enough, along the way, we had limited resources. But because our idea was good, but importantly because we have friends in all kinds of places, Nigeria Content Development Monitoring Board came on after we had made presentations to them and decided to participate under their commercial initiative by investing in our company. I want to recognize and appreciate Nigeria Content for this gesture. Where are we today? Today, we are commissioning our first plant. As you can see it on your right, it's 100 metric tons. We can expand it to 160 metric tons. If you notice on the left, there is some kind of block work. That is where we can put another tank of between 60 and 80 metric tons. But that's just part of the story. Our aspiration under the first phase of our investment program is actually to have 5 plants in the northern part of Nigeria. In Kano, 180 tons. In Bauchi, 120 tons. In Abuja, 180 tons. And in Kaduna, 180 tons. Today, we have finished the designs for Kaduna and Bauchi, and inshallah, we are going through the contracting strategy and contracting processes between December and January. And it is our hope that before the end of January, construction will start. By April, we will start Kano and Bauchi with a combined tonnage of 360 tons. Our expectation is that by September 2022, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we will have 5 plants with total storage capacity of 820 metric tons. We will have the capacity to process 9,200 12.5 kg cylinders per 8-hour shift day. We have invested, or we have invested nearly 3 billion by the end of the first phase of our development program. We expect annual gross revenues on 5 plants of over 20 billion naira every year. We hope to have working directly with us about 120 people with 600 jobs created indirectly through our depots, our distributors, and our retailers. For the plant that we are sitting in, as I mentioned, we have capacity for 100 metric tons. We'll be able to do 1,200 units of 12.5 kg cylinders per 8-hour shift day, we have invested slightly over 450 million naira here. We are employing 24 people directly, and on the outside, we estimate creating about 120 jobs. I should also mention, this is very important, our basic business strategy is to work on the LPG value chain and to mitigate our risks. Accordingly, the only thing that we don't do is we don't produce LPG. But we have the capacity to offtake, put it on our trucks that you can see, and we have quite a number of them. In between, we can trade, sell the gas for delivery elsewhere. And if we decide to bring it to our plant, we offload it, bottle it, and sell it to our depots, retailers, and our distributors. If we don't do that, we have bobtails, and that is the smaller shop on that side. It carries about 10 metric tons, and we can fill it up and go to an industrial area or estate or a factory or a big hotel and offload 5 to 10 metric tons. This plant is built to international standards, and also we comply fully with all regulations, including those related to safety. And that's why, Your Excellency, when we take you around, not only will you see how the plant is laid out, but you also see, for example, our firefighting capability, which end you see about a reservoir of about 200,000 liters of water. And we have water pumps, we have water fire pipes, we have our own power source, and importantly, I should also mention this, that we have our own cylinders, branded cylinders, and you can see all of them on that side. And we have ordered them, we have had them manufactured, and our name is there. It's all part of making sure that as much as is possible, we expand the usage of LPG as an alternative to firewood, which really is hardly, if ever, available, and the usage of which has had devastating effect on our environment, on our climate, and of course on our people. On that note of introduction, Your Excellency, let me once again welcome you, and welcome you most profoundly indeed. When I went to see you about 2 weeks ago to invite you to this place, and to honor and to commission this place, you were very, very keen, very magnanimous, and you had no hesitation in agreeing to come and commission this plant. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, on behalf of the board, the management and staff of Butane Energy, I welcome you to our plant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Next is going to be a Google message, or rather Google remarks, by the Executive Secretary of the NCMPD, joining to invite engineers to the Wokote for the Google remarks.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocols. It gives me great pleasure to be a part of this auspicious commissioning event of the Butane 100 metric tons LPG storage and bottling plant here in Kabukawa Commercial Layout, Katsina. Today's event marks the achievement of yet another milestone in our partnerships model to bring government policies into reality. We are excited to be an active participant and a front runner in taking practical steps in achieving these partnerships, amongst others, in line with the declaration of the year 2021 to 2030 as the decade of gas by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. Various interventions in the gas value chain spanned the development of LPG storage terminals and jetties, inland gas processing for the production of LPG and propane, infrastructure gas gathering and injection into gas pipeline network, CNG facilities and manufacturing of composite LPG cylinders. Permit me, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, to highlight some of our gas partnerships. We are in partnership with Nedo Gas, processing company in Kwale, in Delta State, for the establishment of 80 million standard cubic feet of gas processing plants and a 300 million scopes Kwale gas gathering hub, which is currently 95% completed. We are in partnership with Transcell Gas Limited in Koko in Delta State for 5,000 metric tons LPG storage and loading terminal facility. We're in partnership with DuPont Midstream for the construction of the first energy park in Eboko in Edo State. We're in partnership with Brass Fertilizer for the development of a 10,000 metric tons per day methanol plant at Odiema in Brass. We are also in partnership with Ron Gas in Bayelsa State and in Lagos States for the establishment of plants to manufacture 1.2 million units of composite LPG cylinders in Q2 next year. As part of the board's 10-year strategic roadmap, Your Excellency, our governing council mandated the management of the board to investigate taking up active role in commercial ventures to further enhance the realization of the 70% target level of in-country value retention by the year 2027. To live up to this target and our vision to being a catalyst towards the industrialization of Nigeria, we pride ourselves in promoting Nigerian hydrocarbon value chains and support the realization of projects and activities directed at increasing in-country manufacturing, processing, and utilization of hydrocarbon resources across Nigeria. My principal, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, launched the Nigerian National Gas Expansion Program to reinforce and expand gas supply, as well as stimulate demand in the country through effective mobilization and utilization of all available assets, resources, and infrastructure in the country. Section 70H of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act of 2010 mandates the board to assist local contractors and Nigerian companies to develop their capabilities and capacities to further the attainment of the goal of developing Nigerian content in the oil and gas industry. We have leveraged on this provision to partner with Butane Energy to address the supply constraints in the domestic LPG market in the northern part of Nigeria by undertaking significant investments in the LPG production chain, including plant operation, bulk storage, transportation, distribution, cylinder filling, and bulk retail. The partnerships also enable investment in distribution depots, one-stop shop for cylinders and accessories with the aim to deepen LPG utilization across the region. Your Excellency, the location for the 5 LPG storage and bottling plants are in Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Bauchi states, while the expansion location for the 6 depot locations are in Zamfara, Jigawa, Gombe, Plateau, Niger, and Nasarawa states. Today's commissioning event in Katsina is the first leg of our partnership with Butane Limited, with the other LPG bottling plants and depots to be rolled out coming 2022. As some of us may have known, data released from the then PPROA, now the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, stated that the domestic consumption of LPG in Nigeria exceeded 1 million metric tons in the year 2020. It was recorded as the first time that domestic LPG consumption will reach the 1 million metric ton mark even though 2020 was the year of COVID-19 pandemic. It is also the year of gas, and it was significant that the LPG consumption level broke the previous records. This shows that the various initiatives being embarked upon by the government through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and its agencies are already yielding fruits. Despite utilization of 1 million metric tons of LPG in 2020, Nigeria still has one of the lowest per capita LPG consumption in Africa. Hence, a lot of opportunities still exist for increasing LPG penetration and utilization in Nigeria. Data from the Office of the National Gas Expansion Program shows that the level of LPG utilization in the Northwest is about 4%, compared to about 14% in the Southwest and 15% in the Southeast. That is why we choose to partner with Butane to increase the level of LPG utilization in the North, as they understand the market in the region, possesses the technical capability and the determination to embark on such an initiative. Today's commissioning is evident that we did not choose the wrong partner in our goal to expand the frontiers of gas utilization. Butane Energy has delivered on the first target under the excellent steer and direction of the board of directors led by my good friend and brother, Alhaji Isa Inuwa. Beyond the volumes, the economic, the social and environmental benefits of switching from solid and liquid forms of fuel to gaseous forms are enormous, Your Excellency. The deaths and illnesses caused by smoke and wood fumes are nothing to be proud of for a country sitting on more than 206 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserves. On the environmental benefits, we believe that every household that makes this transition to LPG finds its way to save a tree directly or indirectly from being cut down as fuel for cooking. The alarming rate of desertification and deforestation will be reduced and reserved as we make LPG more accessible and affordable to our city and rural dwellers. On social inclusion, transition to LPG will reduce women's work, time burden. Secondary benefit can also come from time saved with the utilization of LPG by women to improve their lives and that of their families, whether through income generation, education, or leisure. We believe that we are also addressing energy poverty and accessibility as we spread the use of LPG in our dear country. Let me also use this opportunity to highlight that we are working on other partnerships to support the development of inland LPG gas production to reduce our heavy dependence on imported LPG. Let me especially say a big thank you to the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, for providing the enabling environment and giving the right steer to the departments and agencies under the ministry to key into this various government agenda, including the deepening of LPG utilization in Nigeria. As chairman of the Governing Council of NCDMB and the support of members of the Governing Council, we have witnessed tremendous growth in our activities and reach out through the country. Let me also commend our partners, Butane Energy, for their tenacity, professionalism, and value proposition that got us to this point. Having passed through these various stages of our investments sanctioning process, we expect top-notch project delivery and focus to meet the expectation of our various stakeholders. This has been demonstrated today, and we are pleased at the outcome. I look forward, therefore, to the commissioning of the remaining sites in other 9 states and Abuja. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's commissioning is a testament that private-public partnership is indeed a pragmatic and workable model for putting in place the much-needed infrastructure and facilities in Nigeria. Once again, I thank you for receiving us, and I welcome you alongside the chairman to this event. Nagode, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, His Excellency, Chief Executive Principal and the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum, and going by the program, he is the one that will give us the keynote address. So it is now time to invite his representative, the permanent secretary in the ministry, in person of Dr. Sani Borzumo, to deliver the keynote address on behalf of the Honorable Minister.
His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, the Secretary to the State Government of Katsina State, and my teacher who has taught me in the university. I'm very happy to see him here seated. He always gives me confidence when I see him seated in any garden. I remember my good old days in school. Thank you, sir. Executive members of the Katsina State Council, representatives, members of the National and State Assembly, Executive Secretary of the Content Development Monitoring Board, Alhaji Sylvie Wabote. He looks different today. The Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, here present. Yes, he's here seated. The ex-Vice Chair, Erasco Energy, Chairman Butane Energy, who has gathered us here today. We are very proud of you. Alhaji Isa Inuwa. And of course, Hajia Mariam Inuwa, Chairperson of Miss Nuri Limited. Permit me to start with recognizing His Excellency in three capacities as Dr. Sani Borzo. I led 3 delegations during his tenure of the federal government. The first was during the Corona epidemic. Mr. President tasked me with the team to lead the team to conquer Corona, and Katsina is one of the states I visited. His Excellency exhibited exemplary commitment to eradication of Corona. I remember we had a meeting from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. in his office. And today, by the grace of God, you can see the success in eradicating or in controlling Corona. The second was when I came as the permanent secretary representing the Prime Minister of Industry to establish a training fund scheme in Katsina State. He was in the forefront. Now history is repeating itself for the third time. I'm representing the Minister of Petroleum, and also His Excellency is in the forefront. I have a very simple task of reading the speech of the Honorable Minister of State. He's unavoidably absent. He's out of country on a mission. But he has authorized me to read his speech, and that I will do. Wherever you hear me say I, it is Chief Silva Timothy that is speaking. He said, I'm highly honored by the warm reception and hospitality of Katsina. On this very important occasion, marking the commissioning of the Butane Energy 100 metric ton LPG storage and bottling plant here in Kabukawa commercial layout in Katsina State. What is bringing us together today is directly linked to the declaration of the decade of gas by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, which seeks to reinforce Nigeria's aspiration to leverage on its gas resources, estimated at 206 trillion cubic feet, to develop our national industrial, commercial, and agricultural base. It is this declaration that has spurred agencies under my ministry to develop several gas development and utilization projects anchored on deepening gas penetration. In 2017, the National Gas Policy was approved by the Federal Executive Council with a goal to increase domestic consumption of liquefied petroleum gas to 5 million metric tons by the year 2022, from less than 1 million metric tons, and to position Nigeria as a destination for investment in gas value chain. Similarly, government is embarking on several gas-based initiatives, including the Nigeria Gas Flare Commercialization Program, the National Gas Expansion Program, NGEP, the Ajakuta, Kaduna, Kano, AKK gas pipeline, all in a bid to accelerate economic development. The deliberate focus of this administration to develop the gas sector is largely the driving force behind NCDME commercial intervention in partnering with the private sector to establish the Butane LPG bottling plant in several northern states, as you've already been informed: Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, Niger, and FCT to start with. I'm therefore very pleased to announce that Katsina is the first destination for commissioning because it is the first plant to be completed. At this juncture, let me thank His Excellency, the Governor, and the good people of Katsina State for providing conducive environment that enabled the speedy completion of the LPG bottling plant. Your hospitality has made it possible for Katsina State to be among the pioneer micro-distribution centers for LPG, an initiative that will further complement the Butane LPG bottling plant. The commissioning of this bottling plant is coming on the back of several infrastructure development projects that will address gas availability, accessibility, and affordability. It is therefore expected that the economy of Katsina State, and indeed the Northwest and the whole of Nigeria, will benefit from socio-economic spin-offs associated with the gas value chain. The passing of Petroleum Industry Act 2021 by President Muhammadu Buhari has reinforced our commitment to transform the oil and gas industry by creating an enabling environment for accelerated investment in exploration and field development projects, integration of host communities into the benefit plans of the industry, and entrenchment of local content as the driving philosophy for oil and gas transactions in Nigeria. In effect, the PIA is the intensive investment in gas transformation, storage, transportation, storage, marketing infrastructure will no doubt increase per capita consumption of gas in Nigeria. Smaller countries in gas reserves like Kuwait, which reserves of 63 trillion cubic feet, have 7,255 cubic meters per capita consumption, mainly because they have invested in gas infrastructure. Achieving self-sustenance in Nigeria, in the Nigerian oil and gas sector, especially production and processing, cannot be overemphasized. Innovation holds the key to sustainability, so I urge the Butane Energy to make this plant a role model of LPG depots through the following key initiatives. 1. Deployment of technology to drive market penetration. B. Creation creation of financial instruments to incentivize offtake and of its bottled gas. C, investment in human capital development to attract and retain a resilient workforce. D, operate in a globally acceptable and responsible manner. I can see the CEO of Butane Gas nodding. I'm sure he has internalized the Honorable Minister's requests and directives. The NCDB partnership with Butane has reinforced our belief that through public-private partnership, we are better positioned to unlock our binding constraints to development. I will urge the Katsina State government to extend all forms of incentives that will enable Butane Energy to stabilize and operate profitably. I cannot conclude this speech without touching on gas pricing, which is a major threat to gas affordability and gas penetration. The federal government is leveraging on the gas pricing framework and the CBN Gas Development Fund to create appropriate funding models to support offtake of gas, especially among vulnerable groups. I wish to thank the board, management, and staff of Butane Energy Limited for this historic contributory silver, the Honorable Minister of State. And on a personal note, I thank the people, the good people, and the leadership, and the governor of Katsina State for their hospitality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The representative of the Honorable Minister, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry. I think I won't be wrong to say that the concept of the PPP, public-private partnership, is indeed a reality this morning. Now, for one more time, before the address by His Excellency the Governor, I will want to invite the project coordinator of the Butane Energy Limited to give us the vote of thanks. Then we have the project coordinator.
The Executive Governor of Katsina State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. It is my privilege to have been asked to deliver a vote of thanks on this great occasion of the commission of Butane Energy's 100 metric ton LPG storage and bottling plant in Katsina. Let me first start by thanking Almighty Allah for making today's ceremony a resounding success. We are particularly grateful to His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, Executive Governor of Katsina State, for his presence, sustained support, and most importantly, making time from his busy schedule to commission this facility. We also appreciate the presence and remarks of the special guest of honor, His Excellency, Chief Temipre Silva, Honorable Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Dr. Sani Guazo. Our gratitude also goes to the Speaker and honorable members of Katsina State House of Assembly here present, members of Katsina State Executive Council, and Secretary to the State Government, who deserves a special mention for his support and guidance. Let me also thank Malam Ibrahim Tukor, DG Katsina State Investment Promotion Agency, for his support. I would also like to thank the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMD, Dr. Simi Wabote, his entourage, and other dignitaries present here today. We thank the protocol, press, and planning committee members for their hard work and diligence. On behalf of Butane Energy Limited, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all distinguished invitees present for gracing today's event with us and all those who have made this occasion a success. We are indeed grateful to you all, and we wish you all Almighty's protection on your journey back. May Almighty Allah bless you and continue to bless our country, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, the project coordinator. Now I'd like to put the gathering on notice that immediately after the address by His Excellency the Governor, we will remain seated for the closing prayer, as well as the national anthem. Then the last item for this very important program will be the unveiling of the plaque, cutting of the tape, as well as the inspection of the plant by His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, it is always my honor and uncommon privilege to request His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari CFR, to deliver his address. Your Excellency.
The Honorable Minister of State, Petroleum, Resources, the Cabinet here represented by the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Samuel Bono, the Secretary of Katsina State Government, members of the Katsina State Executive Council, senior government officials, representatives of the Royal Highnesses, the areas of Katsina and the chairman of Butane, Mr. other executive members of the company, other senior and executive officers of agencies under the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the request of the press, good morning and assalamu alaikum. All thanks and praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making this day and this time possible for us to be here to see the commissioning of this all important project here in Katsina. The chairman of Butane, the permanent secretary, and the executive secretary of content development, they have given technical briefs on what we are about to commission, and also the future as it holds. So my addition on this, I think, are only into 2 or 3 areas. Expanding of what, if I understand it well, the permanent secretary wants to call on the company to drive consumption through technology and other things that will make this gas available and affordable. You know, a lot of transportation is needed for people to understand gas is cheap than firewood. But the problem is the initial capital. How do we come up with a program that will make people to be able to afford, especially if you start with the civil service? How are they going to afford the now, the initial investment, I think, is the key. Using maybe commercial houses or banks and other institutions see how can we come up with a program that supports people? You have the initial capital. The program is the initial capital. Once you have the initial capital, it's cheap and clean. And for those of us here in Katsina, our forest vegetation cover as of today is only 14%. What is the minimum locally accepted percentage? 26. So we are far below the expected vegetation cover in the country. And even in the whole country, we are still below the 26%. Which is very dangerous. By the time the experts say we reach 5%, that will be a critical time when you will see the environment. So, really, this is a very, very welcome project. That's why when the chairman came to me, I was more than pleased to come here, see for myself, and also to give a word of encouragement. So those of us who are civil servants who are here, and those who are not here, I think they've given you food for thought. That at the retiring age of 60 now, people retire when they are physically fit. A person of 60 years, especially among the elite, will be looking better than a person of 50 or 40 years, some 30 years back. I can see my friend is nodding because he's over 70. I look at him. So that was the education. The investment done on you, not only for you to work in the office, but it's through the brain, opportunity given to you. Also, develop other means of not only supporting yourself, but also of supporting and helping others. Otherwise, if you retire at the age of 60, you have nothing to do. Maybe you have a extended family system, which is a social security system. You have other personal commitments. Your attention and gratuity may not be sufficient. And what the next industry you join is your writing. You find a place, a convenient place, and start writing against everybody who comes. So I think, I don't think I'm not. I think part of what we should also maybe as a side business is mentoring retired civil servants. It's very important. People are retired in very protected areas. Instead of finding something to do, there is always something to do. I don't believe that there is nothing to do. There is always something to do for those who are willing and determined. Don't you say we don't have jobs? Why we have millions of jobs? What do we don't have? Is everybody going to go? We don't have that. The entire workforce of the state, local government and state included, are not up to 100,000. What is the population of Katsina? So the reality is people should be looking more at what can I do. And our educational system also has to really start mentoring people to be self-employed, to be employers of labor, not them to be employed all the time. I think already Italia has opened our eyes. And I think this goes also to retiring politicians, not only civil servants. I am very happy to be here. Very, very happy. And like the permanent secretary has appealed, the state government will continue to support investments like this. We will make land available at a very cheap cost, because we don't sell land here. Whatever is paid to government is only for processing. And for investment like this, we can even do some waivers in order to encourage others to come. I thank the chairman of Butane and other members of the board for choosing Katsina State as the first place to establish this plant. And we look forward to also giving you all you require, even if you need additional land. Even though you said the maximum expansion you will make is 180 metric tons, I hope not in Katsina, because we will welcome you in Kodua, we will welcome you in Daura. There are also emerging centers that require this type of services in order to save our environment. Once again, we thank you. We appreciate the permanent secretary. Although and the local government was there, come on board with it. So, although I'm talking about one of them. So, I think the government is bringing a title of our land. What remains is for you to do the local government. Once again, thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. May we be seated, please? May we be seated? Thank you. Very moving, very constructive, very inspiring remarks by His Excellency the Governor. Now, before we proceed with the inspection and building of the plaque as well as cutting of the tape, I want to invite the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Resource Development, Alhaji Abdullahi Imam, to close the program with a prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على نبينا الكريم سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.
Thank you. May we
kai ina zuwa kai wannan kada ya abin nan
Gashi nan ga wani. Nan ga wani.
This LPG plant was commissioned by the Butane Government on December 4,
His Excellency, this is the main platform where we do most of the operations. These are some of our bottles. Yes, these are the bottles, the 12.5 kg bottles. This is 6.25. Yes, we have the phone where we sell the regulators versus everything. So from this platform, we can fill about 1,600 bottles per day. These are some of our filling scales where we will be able to fill the bottles. This is our cylinder recovery system. So in case a bottle comes and it's leaking or it's not good for any reasons, we're able to recover that gas for safety reasons. We have kind of issues and some of our fillers will support us. Yes, this is like 50 kg and 25 kg.
mutuna arziki da mai girma gwamna.
our showroom where we sell refrigerator systems. This is the office. We have about 3 offices in here, and the open office and the showroom, our control room and storage center. This is our room where we have our pump house with compressors. Our pump house with compressors and cooling systems that allow us to be able to process the gas into our trucks. We offload from here. This is where the trucks will park. We have a power system on top. We connect with our host. The hoses are there. We connect with our host through our pumping system, and we take the gas to the tank. As we offload. Again, as I mentioned, you can see we have fire water system around the tank to ensure that we keep the temperature of the gas cool during hot season, and also in case there's any emergency. Under the tank, you can see all of that. So depending on the market, we can add it. We already have the pipe. All we need to do is just connect. Yes, that's extra.
Daga yau na farfa yan mazo garga hutan ya darar magana.
Going around to see the facility of Butane Energy that was just commissioned in Katsina. Let me end it.